Hi, everybody. Last night, January 26th, we talked again about courage. The previous week, we had talked about courage and had created an acronym out of the letters to remind ourselves of the courage that we bring to the world and the courage that it takes to create change in our lives. And last night, we talked about how courage, as our second part, um, is something that we utilize to keep moving forward, and we often need reminders. Remember, when we talk about our mindset and where we're coming from, our mind is so powerful and it always goes to look for evidence from the past, the reticular activating system. So we program that past because we are looking for all the things that have happened to us, and we can retrain our brain to look for more positive things and with it then create change in our lives. And last night I invited everybody to see courage in others. And when we look at how courageous the people around us are, that helps us live more courageously and have more courageous lives. That was a really cool session, actually. And I invite you to go along now and think of someone courageous. Maybe someone who made a hard choice, someone who spoke up or stayed kind, started over. Maybe they kept going in life. Someone who had courage, but the courage wasn't necessarily loud. It was just a very steady kind of courage. And often it's the first person that pops into your mind. Go with that person. Write that name down. Who is somebody in your life that you know well or have heard about? There is no right or wrong answer, because if that person came to mind for you, then you think that they are courageous. Once you have that name, I want you to think about and write down what makes them courageous. What did this person do that actually took courage? What quality or qualities do they embody? What qualities do they have? Are they honest, persistent, vulnerable? Are they trustworthy? Are they calm? Do they set boundaries? Do they have a lot of compassion? What do you admire most about how they may have handled some difficult or challenging situations or events, whatever that is? And write it all down about that person. You can stop here, can stop the recording so you can take the time to write things down and then come back. And then we shared out. So I'd love for you to share with me, write to me, send me a message, send me an email, and tell me about this person. For us last night, it was all somebody that they knew really well. And we shared about the courage that they've had. Often it was very challenging events that happened in their own lives, either health challenges or challenges of constantly having to move, losing somebody, and then having to pick up the pieces after 40, 50 years of marriage and then having to pick up the pieces, and that them having courage to start over, to continue, to fight, to not give up was really, really, really inspiring. And that's why I'd love for you to share, like, what makes them so courageous? Why did you think of them? What makes them so extra special that you thought of them? Because when we talk about that, I want to remind you that courage, it's not always something bold that we do. Sometimes it means like you're staying somewhere, you're persistent, consistent, right? Or maybe you decided to leave, or that person, not you, that person, right? Maybe they decided to try again, not give up, tell the truth, whatever it is, right? It's not often big, bold things. It's a little small things that make people courageous. Because I truly believe that you recognize that courage in that person because you also have courage inside of you. I truly, truly believe that. And you can believe that too. Because if you can identify courage in other people, that means that courage also lives in you. So now I want you to compare, as in, what do I also have of these traits? Where have I shown courage and the qualities that I'm seeing in this person? What did I have to do that took courage in my life? What qualities do I embody that I've seen in the person that I described and in myself? And what do I admire about how I handled challenging things? And that's not always easy because we're often so hard on ourselves, right? For me, I talked about my mom and how courageous she's always been. Like, when something happened in her life, she lost her job and she's like, okay, now what? Okay, I'm going to open my own restaurant. And she worked tirelessly 7 days a week, put her whole heart and soul into it. And then the town decided she wouldn't extend her lease. So then she's like, now what? Right? So she ended up then cleaning offices and working for the police and cleaning there and handing out food for like, I think it was like €6 an hour. Like, and she could have just been like defeated, and she never was. She was just like, okay, let's try it, let's do it. My parents have rebuilt and fixed up different houses. Then they moved to Munich and lived in Munich because there was more money to make. And every time, like, she got back up and kept going, and it's like, let's see what happens. And those are traits that I see in myself. Like, I make a decision and then it might be challenging and I may like it or may not like it, but I made the decision, so I feel good because I made that decision. And then I can make another decision down the road. So I can definitely see that it takes courage to start over and do something completely different, right? Me moving to the US and then becoming a language teacher and then switching schools and then, moving out here to Boston. Like, all of those took courage, and seeing that courage in my mom has helped me create that courage in myself. So what about you? I hope you'll share out with me and send me a message and tell me about it. And when you're thinking about the courageous people or the courageous person and about yourself, I want to think, like, what are you taking with you from this experience? And usually I give you a mantra for the week, but I want you to come up with your own mantra from the courage from your person and your own courage. What kind of sentence do you want to take with you. I chose Yes, I Can as a wonderful reminder to step out of my comfort zone and keep doing that. And that's our summary for this session. Please reach out to me and let me know what resonated most with you. And I look forward to hearing about it. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Be well. And make sure you start creating your tomorrow today.